Hello and happy Friday to all of you out there, wherever you are and whenever you may be listening. Tonight's WKMCTV broadcast is sponsored by Chris Cunningham, Keith Forspring, and all the teachers in the Mount Carmel Area School District. And it's a matchup, Dan, that needs just one introduction. It's the 69th edition of the Coal Bucket Game, pitting the visiting Mount Carmel Area Red Tornadoes against the hosting Shamokin Indians. My name's Jimmy Lesko. I've got Dan Lesko beside me, as always. Jose Gonzalez down on the sideline. He's going to support us in a lot of different ways, give us stats and figures as we go along tonight. And we're coming to you live from Kent Memorial Stadium in Shamokin, Pennsylvania, where the Red Tornadoes have an opportunity to take the Coal Bucket home for the 24th consecutive year. Now, for those of you that have been with us all year, you might have been able to tell over the course of the broadcast that a big part of my job is reining Dan in and keeping his passion in check so that we can provide a pretty good program here. But you're not going to get that out of me tonight. Tonight, Dan's off the leash. We're going to let him loose. So, Dan, as someone who personally took part in this rivalry, you were on the field, you've been through this. Tell the folks at home, what does this feel like?
Yeah, Jim, the atmosphere of this game, it's like no other. It doesn't matter if you're playing district playoff game, whatever. This game feels different than everything else. Walking onto the field with your brothers, knowing that not only bragging rights for the year are on the line, but that old beat-up coal bucket is up for grabs too. And it sounds, old beat-up coal bucket, but
are there any other kinds?
It doesn't seem like much to an outsider, but for Red Tornadoes and Indians everywhere, that coal bucket is like an Olympic gold medal. Every young Indian and Tornado dreams of playing in this game in hopes of hoisting it up at the final buzzer and being remembered as one of the teams to keep it or take it away.
So as we see the teams come to midfield for the coin toss, it'll be Wills, Troutman, Widener, and Chapman for the Red Tornadoes, along with Grimes, Hornberger, Kane, and number 58 for the Indians. But take it away is exactly what those Indians are going to try to do, Dan. And in this case, the it we're talking to is, of course, that beloved coal bucket. So to do so, they're going to have to bounce back from a really tough loss last week. It was late in the game at Shikellamy, 21-20 loss. How are the Indians, what else do the Indians need to do tonight to be able to really bounce back and have an opportunity to win?
Well, Jim, the main things that the Indians need to do, they need to play. That's going to bring me to tonight's keys to the game, by the way. They need to play with a chip on their shoulder. They need to be extraordinary, and they need to stop the run. So going back at that, the players on this team, Jim, actually anyone in the student body at Shamokin area right now was not born the last time that the Indians held the coal bucket. So you need to play with a chip on your shoulder. You want to be the team to bring that back. You got to be extraordinary. You have to pull out other stops. This game, like I said, it's a different atmosphere. It's a different type of game. It doesn't matter if it's playoffs or not. This game means more than most other games, and they have to stop the run. Defensively, they really need to stop up the run. Red Tornadoes have proved that they can run the ball successfully on pretty much anybody, but Reisinger hasn't been put in too many situations where he has to throw the ball to win. He has the talent to do that, but there's always more risk and more opportunity defensively when the ball's put in the air.
So down on the field, the Red Tornadoes won the toss, and they deferred to the second half, so the Indians will receive. But, Dan, you talked about Reisinger, and sure, make him throw. But just because he dropped back doesn't mean he's going to throw. We've seen him, talked about it all year. He's got the ability to move the pocket, extend plays, and also we've seen a good number of designed runs for Reisinger as well. I mean, he ran for 100 yards last week. Do you expect to see the Red Tornadoes run the ball again tonight?
Well, Jim, that'll actually take me to the Red Tornadoes' keys to the game for tonight. So we'll start with the last one. Do what you do. They run the ball. I expect them to come out just like they have in weeks past. Whether there's 5 guys on the line of scrimmage or there's 11, they're going to try and run the ball.
All right, we'll get back to those in just a second as we're about to get underway here. Chapman kicking off for the Red Tornadoes, and he'll kick it deep to 22 Chickatano. He'll take that at the 5. He's going to try to reverse fields at the 15, but there's a lot of red jerseys there waiting for him. It'll be 1st and 10 Indians at their own 25-yard line.
Yeah, that's a good job on the kick coverage there by the Red Tornado kickoff team there. And just hit these last 2 real quick. Don't look ahead and stay grounded for the Red Tornadoes. I talked about the atmosphere of this game. You got the Great American Rivalry Series going on. A lot of different things, a lot of different moving parts, pregame, everything. stay focused on the task at hand.
Grimes is under center for the Indians. He's going to turn around. He's going to hand that one. That's number 36, Bryson James. He'll go off the right side for a gain of 3 before he stopped up there by Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, got a good initial push there from the offensive line. Was able to get a couple yards there before the Red Tornadoes were able to rally over there. But and don't look ahead for the Red Tornadoes. That it's week 10. You got another playoff run coming up, but you can't overlook this game.
Same look out of the Indians. It's split receivers, one to the right, one to the left. And Grimes is going to throw. He rolls to his right. Now he tries to go up in the pocket, and he's dripped down hard. Number 72, Colin Erb on the tackle. There's a flag on the play. We'll see how this one plays out. It's going to be a hold against the Indians, and we'll see how the Red Tornadoes opt to have this one walked off or not.
It looks like they're going to decline it.
So they'll be happy with the loss of yards there. It'll be back to the 24, so bring up 3rd and 11 here on the initial drive for the Indians.
But yeah, Jim, that's something you're going to see the Indians continue to do. They're going to try and get Grimes outside of the pocket. Defensive end on that left end, I think it was Daukas, did a good job getting upfield and forcing Grimes to stop his feet, which let the guys in the middle get to him.
Grimes going to throw. He's under pressure again. He goes down. And we'll see, there's a lot of red jerseys there. I see 54 Mikowski in there. Wills is in there. Yeah, 72 Herb's in there again as well.
Yeah, Jim, I think that was pretty much the whole defensive line getting after it there. Again, you know, Grimes on a short drop back, trying to get that ball out quick. Credit to the coverage for not giving him anywhere to throw it.
Looks like it'll be 36 James on to punt. It's a good snap. He gets the punt off. It's a high, short kick. It's going to bounce about the 47. It's going to get a nice, friendly roll all the way down to the 34-yard line, and that's where the Red Tornadoes will start their initial drive of the night, Dan.
Yeah, so we'll see what the Red Tornadoes decide to do on offense. Like I said, Jim, I think they're going to continue to do what they do. This is not a game, or this is not a individual game, football. So I don't think anyone's going to – these guys need to just make sure that they come out here and they continue to do what they do. They play as a team. They're blocking for each other. They're setting each other up. Yeah, there's a couple awards being handed out at the end of this one, but you got to play as a team, and you got to get the great reward, which is the win in that coal bucket.
Reisinger brings Burkowski in motion, but he's going to hand it to Widener, and Widener's in the open field. He's across the 50. It's going to take a nice play by 84, Joe Mosser, to drag him down at the 44-yard line. So not before, again, Widener is going to start pretty much where he left off last week with a big gain to jumpstart this Red Tornado offense.
Yeah, and Jim, you talked about it at the outset that this is Widener's game. He won the Mike Terry Award last year, had a huge game last year, and a huge game last week with 132 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns to go along with him becoming the leading returner and a return touchdown.
And it's going to be Widener again, and he is running hard tonight. He's looking for that Mike Terry Award again. He'll pick up another Red Tornado first down, but that Mike Terry Award is the award given out to the Red Tornado player who best exemplifies what it means to be a Mike Terry player. So we usually look at that as the most outstanding player in this coal bucket matchup.
Yeah, and like I said, Widener won it last year, and you're right. He's definitely trying to make a bid for it early here to start this game.
Red Tornado's third play. Now Reisinger's keeping it himself. He'd like to get in on the action. He'll be down at the 25 of the Indians, so another nice play there. Pickup of about 8. So the Red Tornadoes, 3 plays, 3 pretty substantial gains.
Yeah, and Jim, I said that the Indians are going to have to sell out to stop the run, because if the Red Tornadoes are able to move the ball, continue to move the ball like this, they won't have to put it in the air.
Burkowski, this time it's going to be a snap to the up back to Daukas, and Daukas shakes off a tackler. Now he's got one guy to beat. He's going to employ that stiff arm. So there'll be a flag out of bounds. We'll see. That may go against Daukas. He tried to employ that stiff arm, but he may have got a little bit of the helmet there.
Yeah. We're going to see what they call, but that's what it looked like, Jim.
So that'll be a big one. They'll walk it off against the Red Tornadoes. And while they do that, just a reminder, again, this is the 69th edition of the Coal Bucket game. Up to this point, the Red Tornadoes hold the series lead at 51, 15, and 2.
And Jim, Coach Darrow down there on the sideline was trying to get an explanation for that, because normally if it's an offensive, he was just trying to put a stiff arm. It's usually a 5-yard, the incidental face mask. They're walking that off as 15.
Yeah, so that's going to come all the way back to the 22. Now, if there's a positive, I guess, the yardage is still going to give you the first down. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 22 now. And again, the Red Tornadoes' first step back tonight ultimately still winds up being a step forward.
Yeah, so I guess it couldn't have came at a better time.
9:03 left in the first quarter. The Red Tornadoes driving. And it's Widener again, and he bounces to the outside, and he keeps running through arm tackles, running hard tonight. Inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line.
Yeah, it seems like all these Red Tornado backs are running hard to start the game. We saw Reisinger slip out of a tackle. We saw Daukus slip out of some tackles, and we've seen Widener do it. So they're not they're definitely not tiptoeing around in the backfield there. They're getting upfield, and they're doing it quick, and they're running hard.
2nd and 6 from the 18. Reisinger brings Burkowski motion. They'll give it to him this time, and he's not going to go upfield. He's going to try to get all the way outside, and he's not going to make it. We'll try to see who the jersey number there was. It was a nice play by the Indians. Number 84, Joe Mosser. We'll talk about that young man a lot tonight, but he does a great job there stringing the play outside and preventing a first down.
Yeah, you're right, Jim. And if we will talk about him a lot tonight, mostly on the offensive side of the ball, if Grimes is able to get a pass off tonight. But we will see if the Red Tornadoes continue to put pressure on him. We might be talking about that defensive line a whole lot. But we're going to see if the Red Tornadoes can convert their first 3rd down here tonight, right now.
Big play here. We'll see which way Coach Darrow goes. Again, 3rd and 2. Reisinger takes a snap, and he's going to give it to Widener. It's on the ground. The ball snuck out. Now, the Red Tornadoes are going to look like they're on top of this, and that's a break in their favor as the ball skirted out. It moved forward. It's going to bring up 4th and short, but fortunately Chapman falls on it for the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, because, Jim, the offensive line, unknowingly, the ball kind of rolled past a few offensive linemen who were engaged with blockers. Yeah, they were engaged with on their blocks. And now we're going to see this Wildcat on this 4th and short here for the Red Tornadoes. See if Stellar decides to employ the hard count, as he did, I believe, last week, to get an easy first down.
4th and 1 from the 14. That's what Stellar will do, and he's going to get some movement.
We'll see
It'll
where
just be
it's
a matter of where it came from. It was on the left side, and they're motioning it off sides, and that's what it is against the Indians. So again, that the Red Tornadoes have telegraphed that a lot this year, and it doesn't seem to matter. They do a great job on their own side of holding.
And Jim, I enjoy watching that, because Stellar, does a great job out there. He literally goes out there, barks out a count, and then unsnaps his helmet and runs to the sidelines.
So 1st and 10 now. It's a pitch to Widener, and Widener's going to pick his way, and he's in. That's going to be an 8-yard touchdown run for Shane Widener, his first of the night, and the Red Tornadoes jump out to a 6-0 lead with 6:38 left in the first quarter.
Yeah, and that's, again, we talked about a little hiccup there. Wasn't able to get this handoff from Reisinger 2 plays ago. But, again, everything kind of turning up roses for the Red Tornadoes at this point. You have the penalty that still results in a first down. You have the fumble that gets you closer to for a short 4th down attempt. You get the penalty to get you that first down, and then you come back and score the touchdown.
It's a high snap. Verano does a nice job of bringing it down, and Stellar does the rest. It'll be 7-0 Red Tornadoes. And again, tonight's game sponsored by Chris Cunningham, Keith Forspring, as well as all the teachers at the Mount Carmel Area School District. So thank you for doing that. Remember, those donations all matter, no matter how big they are. The sights and sounds of tonight's game are coming to you thanks to that kind of generosity. So as far as the Mount Carmel Area School District and its partners continue to do big things such as this, again, WKMCTV, all student-run TV studio. It's an amazing opportunity to be a part of something for these kids. Your donations help keep it going. You can listen throughout the broadcast to figure out how you can donate, or you can call 570-339-1500 for more information. And
Yeah, Jim. So another big drive there for the Red Tornadoes to start this game. And, you know, unfortunately, their streak was broken last game with the consecutive drives with touchdowns. But I think they're looking to start another streak tonight, Jim, because they just would not go away running down the field there. They move the ball at will on this Indian defense. They're going to have to do something differently to get back on track.
Big kickoff out of Chapman. It'll be Mosser at the 7. He picks his way and he takes a big stick. Oh my goodness, that's stellar because of course it is. Puts a big hit on him.
And there's a flag here. We'll see what the flag is. If it's for hitting too hard, it's going to be.
I almost wonder if Mosser's knee touched the ground when he fielded that kick because it came out so quick. Nope, it's a block in the back. Okay.
Okay. But yeah, really nice job there by the coverage team, and they did put a big hit on Mosser there. But yeah, I agree with Jim. It did look like his knee was really, really close to being down when he caught the kickoff.
And typically that wouldn't be a flag, but
right, they would just blow it dead, but you never know.
It's been an interesting year we've had with officials.
It definitely has been. That's why I wouldn't have been surprised if they, you know, called for a good tackle, you know, threw a flag for that.
So after they walk off that block in the back penalty, it's going to go all the way back to the 12. So the Indians' long field got a little bit longer. 1st and 10. They trail 7-0 with 6:32 left in the first quarter. Grimes looking to the outside, and he's going to take a timeout. A little difficulty getting the play in.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was entirely difficulty getting the play in. I think it was a combination of that and just not really confident in the play call possibly. They just did a really good job of deciding to take the timeout when he didn't see what he liked. I think that's the sign of a veteran leader on the team. So good job by Grimes here, and hopefully the Indians are able to come out and put a drive together here and kind of keep this one close at this point.
Yeah, so we talked about, again, this being the 69th Coal Bucket matchup. Red Tornadoes hold a commanding lead 51-15-2. But it's actually the 113th time these two schools have met, going all the way back then to 1893.
Wow.
And in that, the Red Tornadoes hold a lead of 77-25-16. So that's pretty, 77-25-10. That's pretty good numbers there. And we talked a little bit about it being one of the Great American Rivalries, the Great American Rivalry Series, which is a really cool thing that has kind of caught on to this game. We worked with them last year at the Silver Bowl, and this is the second time, you know, we're enjoying that kind of coverage. And so the Red Tornadoes are 1-0 in the Great American Rivalry Series against the Indians as well.
Impressive.
This is going to be a handoff up the middle to James, number 34. The Red Tornadoes all over that one.
Yeah, again, though, Jim, it still looks like they seem to be getting a decent kind of push at the line of scrimmage there on the offensive side. It doesn't look like they're really getting too far, but by the time they're getting to the defense, they're already 2-3 yards downfield.
Yeah, pickup of 3 there, which is, if I'm being honest, about 2 more than I thought. So to your point, Dan, yeah, they're moving the ball a little deceptively.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're going to have to do.
You see already a little change there as it's a handoff to James, and he'll be close. He'll be close to a first down. We'll see exactly where the ball's spotted. But, Dan, that's a quick change already for the Indians in that they've gone from that kind of that single back too wide to a more traditional pro style with an I formation, 1 receiver split out.
Yeah, and this is something that I expected to see from Coach Hajnowski. You know, we talked about it earlier today. He's an old school guy. I mean, he played fullback in the NFL, so he wants to run those hard-nosed, up-the-middle run plays, pro sets, as we see right now.
Going to be James again. We'll see. He's close to the first down, and he did get it. They're going to give it to him, so the Indians will pick up their first down of the night.
Yeah, they gave him the first down there, but that's a good job by the Red Tornado defense. I saw Bendis coming off the edge there and get to James in the backfield, but unfortunately coming off of the edge, he kind of, when he tackled him, James was able to fall forward and get that yard that he needed. Under
5 minutes now. Again, We're here at Kent Memorial Stadium. The Red Tornadoes lead 7-0 early in the coal bucket game against the Shamokin Indians. Now a hard count from the Indians is going to get a jump from the Red Tornado side.
Well, looks like this might actually go against the Indians, Jim.
It will indeed. Okay.
So there must have been some movement to draw the Red Tornadoes off.
So we'll see. And that'll be 1 step forward and 2 steps back early for the Indians. Back down to about the 18-yard line.
Yeah, and we'll see what they decide to do here with a little bit of a longer field. Chicatano's always a weapon on the outside.
Get another snap, or excuse me, another whistle. And that's another false start against the Indians.
And Jim, I don't want to take anything away from what the Indian defense or Indian offensive line has been doing, getting that initial surge up front. But with 2 plays in a row, it seems like maybe this was something they were warned about earlier, and now the referees are penalizing them for it. Getting a little bit of a head start could have been giving them that little push to get those short gains they've been getting on the ground.
Could certainly be the case, but now it's a split back formation for the Indians. And you saw a hard count there again as well. It's Bryson James off the right side. He does a nice job picking his way. That initial surge from the Indian offensive line will be brought down by Bendis.
Jim, I think that was actually Max Madden there on the carry. I think James was the lead back that got the fake. That's that, I told you about this earlier, that's that old school H play, the split backs. You fake it to the first back through the hole to fill for the pulling guard, and then Madden got right behind the pulling guard and picked his way through for a 10-yard gain.
So after the 2 false start penalties, handoff to Madden will get 10 yards back. They'll be inside the sticks here with 2nd and 10. And now this will be number 4, Aaron Frash. He fights hard. Another good, tough run there out of an Indian tailback. Will be up across the 25, about the 27. It'll be 3rd and around 4.
Yeah, and Jim, that's the same play, just going the other way. This time Madden filled, and they gave it to Frash coming around the outside. And again, turning up to be a pretty well put together drive at this point. Big 3rd down again.
It'll be Madden behind Frash in the backfield. Matt Chicatano, always a threat, split out to Grimes' left, but it's going to be Madden again. He's got some space. He does a nice job following the blockers, and the Indians may have found something that works. They've got another 1st down. They're out to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, and Jim, they may have found something that works is correct. I'm not sure if the Indians, I'm sure they watched a lot of tape on this Red Tornado defense because they've been really hard to figure out. But if they watch the second half of that North Schuylkill game, that could be where this is coming from, because that's really what the Spartans in North Schuylkill did to kind of get the ball rolling against the Red Tornadoes.
Indians this time, they'll give it to the up man, and that's Frash, and Frash will be very near another 1st down. Looks like they're going to mark him about a yard short, so a big run there. Bring up 2nd and 1 from the 44-yard line.
Yeah, and they just seem to be gashing the Red Tornadoes up the middle. So you see, actually, there's some shuffling on defense. They're moving guys. The Red Tornadoes moving guys in and out, which they've been doing throughout the season, and just trying to find the right combination in there to get a stop.
This is going to be Madden again off the right side, and he'll get the 1st down. It won't be as flashy of a gain as the last couple plays, but it'll certainly get the job done all the same.
Yeah, he's been got really close there, very short pickup, but the Indians again continuing to move the ball.
Yeah, one thing, Dan, I can't help but notice that if you're Coach Heinofsky or really anybody wearing purple tonight, what you notice is every time you look across the field and you see big number 13 standing on the sideline for the Red Tornadoes, that's a good sign for you. If you keep Reisinger and company off the field, they can't put any points on the board.
Absolutely.
There's going to be another handoff to the up back, and the Red Tornadoes are a little more ready for that one. We'll see who that was. Looks like it's going to be 4 Frash getting off the pile at the bottom of the pile again, right after big number 72 Chili. Colin Erb lets him up.
Yeah, but Jim, you're absolutely correct about that. That I talked about it last week. One of the keys to the game I had for Bloomsburg was the best defense is a ball control offense, and that's what the Indians are doing right now with how efficient the Red Tornadoes have been offensively. Just keep them off the field.
It's going to be a handoff to Madden again. Now Madden's in the open field. Now it's a foot race. He's inside the 20, the 15, the 10, 5, and Madden's going to go all the way in. A 51-yard touchdown run for the Indians, and that's about as exciting as things get. Look at that Indian sideline, Dan. They are going wild because they're in this one.
Yeah, and Jim, this is what we talked about. It doesn't matter. Throw the records out the window when you come into this cold bucket game. Whether Mount Carmel's 10-0 and Shamokin's 0-10 or vice versa, it doesn't matter. This game has a totally different atmosphere like I talked about in the pregame, and it's showing tonight. You see the excitement. This is like the Super Bowl for a lot of these kids out there.
Number 9, Carson Osowski will come on to attempt the equalizer. Kick will be up, and it's low, but it is no good. Wide left. So with 55 seconds left in the first quarter, the Red Tornadoes will hang on to the lead, albeit just by a point, 7-6 in favor of Mount Carmel.
But again, Jim, you know, you talked about it. It was a really nice drive for the Indians, and you want that drive to kind of to continue to run time off the clock as it did. It's already almost the end of we're under a minute left in this first quarter, and the Red Tornado offense only had the ball once. So that's very good for the Indians. But, you know, these long touchdowns and things like that, that's how games turn into a shootout. And I don't think the Indians want to get in a shootout with the Red Tornadoes. I think they need to get a stop early to try and take a lead.
For the first time tonight, we'll see the all-time leader in kick return yardage for the Red Tornadoes. That's number 28, Shane Widener. Dan, you talked about it. He set that record last week on the back of a 76-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Well, I should say 76 yards thanks to a nice little pitch by number 7, Brock Everett. So that was a fun thing to see.
Yes, it was. It absolutely was. And what a way, we talked about it last week. What a way to break the record. You know, the ball wasn't even supposed to come to you, but it seemed like Everett really wanted to see Widener get that record, and being the good teammate that he is, got the ball to him.
And Cruz Dindorf, his kick is going to be taken not by Widener but by Popo at the 15, and now he's up through the field. That was Burkowski, and he took a shot from number 15, Brett Nye, right at the 45 or at the 40-yard line. Excuse me. So we'll see what the forward progress rules operate here, as he took a shot, and it'll be 1st and 10 Red Tornadoes at the 39.
Yeah, and it was a really nice tackle there by Nye, but a good job by Burkowski kind of getting himself moving when he received that kick and putting the Red Tornadoes in pretty decent field position to start this drive.
Yeah, so for those of you catching the Red Tornadoes for the first time tonight, the offense they operate, it's a shotgun double wing, and it will look a lot the same all night, and Widener's going to take the handoff and get stuffed at the line for the first time. So the Red Tornadoes need to be careful here, as the momentum, for the moment at least, seems to be wearing purple.
Yeah, I agree, Jim, and that's kind of that. This is where the Red Tornadoes really need to put together one of those long, drawn-out drives and cap it with a score to kind of sort of like a take their heart drive.
We're under 17 seconds now. This may be the last play of the first quarter. Now here we go. We'll see Reisinger throw it. He's going to roll to his right. Now he's going to come back, and he's under all kinds of pressure. He does a smart thing and throws it away. So good play there by Reisinger to look downfield, see there's nothing, escape the grasp, and just throw it away.
Yeah, really good decision there by Reisinger. Like you said, the coverage from the Indians was great downfield. Normally you get one of those 3 guys in that pass pattern running free somewhere. Somebody misses an assignment. But really good job by the Shamokin defense. As you said, the momentum currently on their side.
They're going to pitch it to Widener, and there's too many purple jerseys around. They stick him in the backfield. Well, he'll get a yard on that one. It's going to bring up 4th down when we come back for the second quarter, but at the end of 1, the Red Tornadoes are on top 7-6 in what is a very competitive affair.
Yeah, Jim, so we'll see. This looks like it's going to be a punt situation from the Red Tornadoes as far as I can tell. So it's going to be 4th and long. And I talked about it right before the drive began that what the Indians really need to do is get a stop, and they've done that.
Right, yep. And again, so if you're watching us out here, if you're watching us on Wednesday, if it's Wednesday night, this is on Service Electric, Channel 8. So we appreciate all the support they've given us over the years. If you're catching us live, courtesy of RedTornadoFootball.com or wherever you go once you get there, be sure to keep coming back week over week. The Red Tornadoes doing a little bit of scoreboard watching tonight. At least the fans are. Those of us up here will give some updates as the night goes on. But the Red Tornadoes will be playing a district playoff game next week, regardless of the outcome here, and it will be at home.
Yes.
But after that is where it starts to get interesting. And to keep those games live, we need to keep those donations coming in. So remember that when you're thinking of us, and you can hear us next week and the weeks after as well. But on the field, Chapman's going to be punting, and there's a good rush there, but he does a nice job getting an end-over-end punt, and it'll be caught by number 7, Wolfgang Pearson. Does a great job of getting up over the 35 to the 37 when he may have been more advised to take a fair catch.
Yeah, it would have been a good decision to take the fair catch there in theory, but Pupo, unaware of when the ball was going to be getting there, did not want to get the kick-catch interference penalty, so kind of had to work his way around him as he was receiving the ball, so gave him kind of an opening there to get things started.
So we'll see the same formation out of the Indians. It'll be that I Frash in front of Madden. They're going to have Joe Mosser split out right, wide right that is. Now the Red Tornadoes have 9 guys within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, and that's James that time, excuse me, not Madden, and he's got nowhere to go. He'll pick up maybe a yard. No, excuse me. Again, these angles are getting me, Dan, I think.
Yeah.
He'll somehow get out to the 40-yard line, so pick up a 4, 2nd and 6.
Yeah, nice run there by James. It was a tough run, like you said, Jim. It really looks like the Indians aren't getting a whole lot up the middle, and then somehow they get a 3-4 yard push.
Same look there, and James will be dropped in the backfield that time. Ran through an initial arm tackle by a blitzing linebacker, but too many red jerseys there will drop him for a loss of a yard. Going to bring up 3rd and 7 with just under 11 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, that's a real nice job by the Red Tornado defense. After kind of getting gouged last drive up the middle and giving up big plays at multiple times, toughening up here and keeping Shamokin off schedule. You know, we talk about the Red Tornado offense always trying to stay on schedule, stay ahead of the sticks. With the way that Shamokin's offense is running right now, they need to stay on schedule, and 3rd and 8 is not where they want to be.
We'll see how the Red Tornadoes handle this from a defensive standpoint. Grimes is going to throw it, and he's under pressure immediately. Now he steps up in the pocket, and Red Tornadoes do a great job of containing him, and they'll drop him at the 40. Call it the 43-yard line after a gain of 4. It's going to bring up 4th and 4, and Coach Hynoski has a decision to make.
Yeah, and it looks like there's big-time substitutions being made, so it looks like the punt team is going to be coming out here, but looks like the punter, is that Bryson James?
Yeah.
So
yep.
One of the backs always have to be prepared. I think that's why the Red Tornadoes are only sending 1 return man back.
It's a good snap and a good punt by James. And it'll be Burkowski who takes a fair catch right away at the 26. So the Red Tornado defense holds, and they do a nice job of getting Reisinger and company back out there relatively quickly, forcing a 3-and-out for the Indians.
Yeah, and that was what they needed to do. If the Indians were really starting to seize the momentum, the score, the stop. If they would have been able to go down there and score, it would have been tough for the Red Tornadoes to take it back. Now it's kind of even. Each team has a score on their first drive, or a score and a stop for each side. So the Red Tornadoes need to put another one up on the board. Actually, 2 stops for the Red Tornadoes.
It's a pitch to Widener, and he's dropped in the backfield. A nice play there. We'll try to get the young man's number. He popped up quickly and went the wrong way. That looks like to be Bryson James. So big play there by the halfback punter, do everything James for the Indians.
Yeah, and Red Tornadoes, after having a ton of success in the middle on their first drive, starting to kind of have to find another way.
Widener goes in motion the other way, and it's that inside handoff to Burkowski. Burkowski does a great job of picking his way, moving forward. He'll get a first down. No, he won't. He'll get a tough spot.
Real tough spot there.
They're going to bring up 3rd and 1.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to mark him about 1.5 yards shorter than I thought he earned. But it's going to be a 3rd and short, and this is what I talked about, staying on schedule for the Red Tornado offense. 3rd and 1 is very manageable, but we're going to see a Shamokin defense that's going to be bringing a lot of pressure, I think.
So we'll see again. This is that shotgun double when we talked about it before. Reisinger will be in the gun with a sidecar, whether it's Widener or Bendis, and it's a snap to the up man who will pick up a first down. It was Daukus, so he does a nice job fighting hard for that first down. But my goodness, the Indians didn't make it easy.
Yeah, really nice job there by Daukus, working his way for that short gain, and that was all he needed.
Yeah, so again, we're talking about that formation. That's Daukus and Burkowski usually wind up in that wing off the right side. Chapman and Wills are your tight ends. So the Red Tornadoes will keep it tight, as they always have. Widener will go in motion across the formation, but they give that handoff back on the inside to Burkowski. He'll get across the 40 to the 45-yard line.
And again, looks like a not a very favorable spot. Looks like they're giving him about 1/2 yard short on everything here, but still going to bring up a 2nd and short. And again, Red Tornadoes starting to build a little offensive rhythm here, staying on schedule. Indians are going to have to do something to stifle this.
2nd and 3. Now it's the same look, but it's a handoff to Widener. And Widener's going to do everything he can to get back to the line of scrimmage, so a good individual effort by him as he had nowhere to go. A lot of purple jerseys there. And even in the heat of this rivalry, a nice show of sportsmanship by 36 Bryson James, lifting Widener up off the turf.
Yeah, Jim, you talk about how Mount Carmel and Shamokin, huge rivals and stuff like that, but the towns are right next to each other. Schools are very close to each other. These guys know each other off of the football field as well.
Now it's that inside handoff to Burkowski, and Burkowski tries to get to the outside, and he turns back inside, working for a first down, but he took a big shot from number 34, Max Madden, that'll stop him short.
Yeah, and this is decision time for Coach Dara here now, Jim.
They're going to get an official's timeout here. They're going to grab number 75, Big Matt Kelly, Tank. And they're going to blood on his arm, maybe. They're pointing to his arm.
Yeah.
He's heated at having to come out of this game, as you would expect all these kids would be.
And especially at a time like this, Jim, this is his first coal bucket game, and it's a big 4th down play. Of course he wants to be out there.
And he'll be spelled by another freshman, that's 71, Nick Nestico. There's a couple freshmen on the line, anchored by the 3 seniors, but here we go, 4th and 1. This is as close as it gets. Steller takes the snap himself, and he's going to have the first down. He picks it. He stays on his feet, does a nice job getting into Indian territory. So the first real test of the night for this Red Tornado offense. They pass with flying colors, and it'll keep the drive moving.
Yeah, that's a great job by Steller, kind of picking his way, being patient. A lot of guys on 4th down, they want to come in, they just want to run into the back of one of their linemen and hope to get the first down. Steller did a really good job there of being patient and finding a hole to get more than what he needed.
So, same look for the Red Tornadoes. Widener goes in motion. They're going to pitch it to him off the right, and he's got some room off the side. He's going to come back across the grain where he's got his blockers. Now he's in between 2 Indian defenders, and he keeps his legs churning inside the 15 all the way down to the 13-yard line for a gain of 35. Huge run, Shane Widener.
Yeah, that was definitely a huge run there for Widener, and did just a great job finding. That was the first time that I've seen that play get to the edge today. The Indians defense has really been doing a good job of setting the edge and not letting the Red Tornado backs get outside, but he was able to get to the edge on that one. And then, like you said, these guys are always good at it, find their cutback lanes.
Reisinger takes the snap, and it's Widener again, and he's up the middle, and now he's going to break to the outside, and Widener's going to walk in And so just like that, the Red Tornadoes jump back on top, 13-6, with 5:42 left in the second quarter of the 69th Coal Bucket game.
Yeah, Jim, and that's exactly what the Red Tornadoes needed. Like, we talked about the last drive, that it seemed as though that purple sideline, that home sideline for the Indians, was starting to kind of seize the momentum a little bit. And now the Red Tornadoes take it right back.
Stellar on for the extra point. Looks like the Indians are going to come after this punt from one side, and they come hard. Stellar pops it up, and it is good. So the Red Tornadoes extra point team does a nice job of holding the line. They're given just enough time to get that kick off, and so that Red Tornado lead will jump out 14-6, an 8-point lead. And again, with what we've seen so far in the game, certainly seems like every one of those points are going to matter, Dan.
Yeah, we talked about it, Jim. It's just doesn't matter how many points the Red Tornadoes have scored in weeks past when it comes to this game. How many points the Indians have scored in weeks past when it comes to this game. This one's always going to be a dogfight, and that's exactly what we've seen so far.
So big answer drive there for the Red Tornadoes. And doing what they've done all year round, Dan. They do it on the ground.
Yep.
So certainly want to give some credit to those big guys up front in Shirok, Mikowski, Erb, Kelly, and Nestico. Really just doing a terrific job out there of making all kinds of room. Again, we talked about it before. You got the three seniors in the front in Shirok, Mikowski, and Erb. And then your tackles being Nestico and Kelly.
Yep. And they're learning from a great core in the middle there. Those guys in the middle have really taken them under their wing and turned this into a tough offense to stop.
Chapman's going to make a nice kick to Wolfgang Pearson, and a great tackle made by Stellar right at the 20. So Chapman's kick was nice. It was directional. It buried Pearson in the corner, and as he tried to get upfield, Stellar just got there first and dropped him quickly.
Yeah, and Jim, it's always fun to watch the routes that these kickoff coverage players kind of have to take. I watched Stellar a little bit down the field, and he was just weaving in and out, making defenders miss, and was able to. I don't think a blocker got a hand on him, and it gave him the opportunity to make that tackle.
And Stellar's out there in an outside linebacker position as the Red Tornadoes are still dealing with this run game. It'll be a handoff to 34 Madden, but a lot of red jerseys that'll stop him for we'll wait and see with the spot. I've been wrong a couple times tonight, but it looks like for no gain.
Yeah, and you're right. They're still dealing with this run game, but right there it seemed like they're dealing with it for sure. That just really nowhere to go. So, the Indians sort of found an answer on that second drive. They came back out on their third drive. The Red Tornadoes found an answer. So now we're going to have to see if the Indians can dial something up. And this is the first time we've seen this, I think.
It's twins left out of the I formation, though. It'll still be a handoff to Madden, but the Red Tornadoes do a nice job there of stopping him after a gain of a yard only. So it'll be 3rd and 9, but damn, we've seen teams try to do this to the Red Tornadoes all season.
Yeah, Jim, they tried to spread them out, get two receivers to a certain side, sometimes even more, to pull one of those linebackers out and then run to that side in the vacated linebacker spot. But this Red Tornadoes defense is a complementary defense. They pick each other up, and they do a really nice job in coverage.
So now there's a bit of an overload to the right side of this line, but it's the reverse, and Mikowski read it the whole way, grabs Chicatano and slams him down in the backfield. Now there should be a flag here on Chicatano.
And they're not going to throw anything at all.
He's not going to get it. He took a swipe there at a Red Tornado.
Swing, but,
so they're not going to get that one, but what they are going to get is a 4th down as they'll mark. Somehow he only lost 2 yards on that one.
Yeah, they're going to give him a loss of 2 and no negative 15 yards for the personal foul, but a great job by the Red Tornado defense, getting in the backfield, sniffing that play out with no problem, and shutting Chicatano down.
Nice punt from James again. That time it'll be Pupo, and he'll take a fair catch at the 50. So that's where the Red Tornadoes will start this drive with 3:37 left in the first half and a 14-6 lead over the Indians.
And so you get a big stop on the defensive side of the ball. You got decent field position. Jim, I like to see Coach Dara here go for a shot to start this drive.
Yeah, well, what's interesting, Dan, and tonight certainly it's going to be a punch kind of game, and the Red Tornadoes punched and the Indians counterpunched, and then the Red Tornadoes punched again.
Right.
And haven't yet had the response from the Indians. So we'll have to see where it goes from here, as now that momentum resides in number 28, Widener, as he does a great job just fighting through. And that ball is out.
But, he's got to be down by contact on that, right?
Doesn't look like they're going to get any break from this side. And
which they haven't all night with the spots and things of that such.
And Coach Dara is going to be okay with that one. He doesn't seem to be protesting too much, so I'll take him at his word. And we'll go 1st and 10 Indians from their own 47-yard line. That'll be the first turnover of the night, and it favors the Indians when they really needed to make a play. So credit them for doing so.
And Jim, there may have been that counter punch that
Right.
you just spoke of. They come out and are able to punch the ball out of Widener's arm there. It looked like he was fighting for extra yards, and somebody got a helmet on that ball and knocked it loose. And we'll see if they can make something out of this drive now.
So now this is more of what we saw from the Indians on their successful drive. One receiver in I formation. It's Bryson James now, and he's off the right side. Does a nice job of being driven out of bounds by Troutman, but not before he gets close to a first down. Picks up about 9.
Yeah, another nice start to the drive there for the Indians. And like I said, Jim, the Red Tornadoes are going to have to find a way to stop this. They kind of had it on the last drive. They're going to have to continue to get that defense where they need to be and do their job. Play assignment football on the defensive side.
This is going to be a handoff to the up man. It's Frash, and he fights hard. He'll pick up the first down and more across the 40, down to the 38. So a nice gain of 5, and the Indians are driving.
Yeah, Jim, they're doing a nice job of kind of just, they'll try and get James or Madden for 6 or 7, it seems, and then they're going to give it to Frash for 3 or 4. And this is one of those deals. If they're able to run this clock down and put one in before the half, this would be an interesting halftime.
Turns into a game of sample sizes, and if you can keep them small, you increase your odds. And it's James again off the left side, and he's a big kid. He runs hard. He'll only get 4 on that one. But again, he runs big. Is he up and down, Dan? Is that what I'm seeing? He looks big when he's running. And I know we have him listed here again at 5'9", 180, but he looks bigger than that.
Yeah, he's more of a stocky kid, but he's well put together. And I'm not sure if I would say he runs up and down, but maybe he runs big. But when he gets the contact, he's definitely got his shoulders square and able to kind of fight for extra yards at that point.
Give him credit. He's hard to bring down. And it's going to be Bryson again off the right side. And there, to your point, Dan, he's got his head down, fighting through tacklers. He'll get inside the 30 to the 29, which will bring up a big third down for both teams. 3rd and 2 as we approach a minute and a half left in the first half. The Red Tornadoes on top, 14-6. But again, the Indians inside the 30.
Yeah, Jim, that's that H play again. We'll see if they decide they want to go with the up back Frash here, or if they're going to try and have James follow Frash.
Grimes has a little trouble with the handoff there. Throws off the timing just enough. But it looks like James fights off that left side.
Yep,
and he's going to get the first down. Yep, so 109 here. They'll stop the clock with the first down, but we'll see if anybody calls a timeout here. Doesn't look like it's going to come from the Indian sideline as Coach Hynoski sent Grimes back into the huddle with a play.
Yeah, and I don't think it's definitely not going to come from the Red Tornadoes sideline now with a first down for the Indians. We'll see if the Indians are able to bring this drive to fruition and get some points.
Grimes is going to snap the ball, and he's going to throw it. He's looking now. There's 2 Red Tornadoes in the area. Belichick does a nice job in coverage, a nice play on the ball. It falls incomplete to stop the clock with 49 seconds left. But, Dan, I couldn't help but notice Grimes snapped that ball with about 56 seconds left, which means not calling the timeout cost him 13 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. It cost them a lot of time. And if they're going to go to start throwing now, grant you, if they're going to start throwing the ball now, They do still have 2 timeouts left, so we'll see what they decide to do.
I'm going to go back to what worked. It's Bryson James off the left side. The Red Tornadoes stuff him up hard at the 26. So we'll pick up, give him 2 more yards, it looks like, and the Indians will take their second timeout of the half.
Yeah, Jim, you could see Coach Hynoski running down the line as soon as James started to get stuffed up there. Coach Hynoski running down the sideline to the referee, trying to get that timeout in as quickly as possible. But at this point, they're going to have to continue to run the ball. That's the only way they've been able to move the ball. Grimes doesn't have enough time to make an accurate throw, and when he does, the coverage has been there.
As you look down on the field, and again, you see both teams in the huddle, and you have these terrific sights and sounds. Reminder, tonight's game is brought to you by Chris Cunningham and Keith Forspring. So they're both teachers at the Mount Carmel Area School District. And again, we'll talk about those guys a little bit more when we have a second, but they're a really cool story in that neither of them, Dan, are actually from the area. They're both from elsewhere. Yeah. But I think that those guys in particular have embraced everything that is Mount Carmel, and they do such a great job of kind of showing what it is to be a Red Tornado, both in their professional life and their personal life. So we certainly appreciate all the help that they're giving, and we encourage all of you out there to help as much as you can. So big play here, 3rd and 6. Grimes brings Chickatano in motion. He's going to roll to his right, and he's going to throw it into nobody in particular. Big play by Widener. Widener had shadowed Chickatano so well that I didn't see Chickatano. I only saw Widener, Dan.
Yeah, that was such great coverage by the Red Tornadoes, and a good job forcing by Daukus again, getting himself upfield. He took on a double team out there, but forced Grimes to throw that ball before he wanted to.
So now it's 4th and 6, 41 seconds. This drive started with a lot of promise after the Widener fumble and the recovery. A couple first downs for the Indians, but again, they've stalled here a bit at the 25. 41 seconds in the half. They trail by 8. Here we go. Grimes is going to throw it again. He moves to his right. He's got Chickatano, but he hits Mosser. Mosser does a great job down to the, we'll see exactly where they mark it. Well, we'll have a second.
Looks like about the 9, Jim.
Yeah, we got a second here because Coach Hynoski is going to take his last time out of the half. Now, I'm yelling that they've got Chickatano, because Chickatano had come open in the end zone on a corner route, but he went with the underneath guy, Mosser, for a big play, got the first down and more. Again, it's a gain of 16 on 4th and 6.
Yeah, and that's a big 4th down play there. I mean, that could be a deciding play in the way that it is the deciding play in the way that this first half is going to end out. Either, you're going to have Mount Carmel getting the ball back here, and now you have Shamokin with a chance to even the score going into the locker room. So big momentum play for the Indians.
You got to give credit where credit is due on that one. Burkowski was in coverage, and he was in good coverage.
Yeah.
Grimes just made a good ball, and Mosser picked it out of the air. So, again, Mosser, we said at the outset we'd talk about him. Again, he's not messing around this season. 22 catches for 420 yards and 5 touchdowns coming into this game. So no stranger to the ball or the end zone.
Yeah, and it seems that he's been doing that exactly all year, just kind of going up and getting the ball.
Now the Red Tornado defense imploring their student section to get loud, as this is a pivotal juncture in the game. Grimes brings Chickatano in motion, and he's going to roll out to his left and try to throw it. He's under pressure almost immediately, and he's dragged down to the backfield. Now the Indians need to get up quickly. The Red Tornadoes need to also get up quickly.
Yeah,
to avoid any kind of delay of game penalties or any offsides.
The ball here.
And now they're moving quickly to get there. So we're under 20 seconds. Grimes will spike it. So 15 seconds left here, but a huge play by the Red Tornado defense. It's going to come all the way back to the 15.
And looks like Coach Dare is trying to, I don't think he thought that everybody was set on the Shamokin side of the ball, or maybe there was too many guys in the backfield, but the referees were just making sure that clock got stopped. So we'll see now. This is probably, unless this is an incompletion, like a throw it to the end zone, Jim, or they can get out of bounds, this is going to be it.
So we'll see what happens. 15 seconds left. Again, 3rd and 9. Like you said, Dan, they got 2 shots, but the clock is not their friend. Grimes is going to throw it again. He moves up, and he's going to go down.
And that's probably going to do it. I don't think he's going to have enough time to get another one off, Jim.
Nope, we'll see. 5, 4, 3, 2, and the Red Tornado defense will hold firm and end the first half on a sack here at Kent Memorial Stadium. So after the first half of the 69th Coal Bucket, the Red Tornadoes are on top 14-6. So we'll be back after a great rendition by the Mount Carmel Area Band with stats from Jose. Hello and welcome back to Kent Memorial Stadium, where the Red Tornadoes are on top of the Indians 14-6 at the end of the first half in the 69th edition of the Coal Bucket game. Now, courtesy of Jose, as always, we have some stats from the first half. So we'll start with the Red Tornadoes. 20 rushes for 157 yards, and through the air, 0 for 1. That leads us to 8 first downs as well. And on the opposite side, the Indians, of course, 27 carries, Dan, for 117 yards, and 1 of 4 passing, but of course for 16 yards, and that was the big first down play to Mosser. So, and they totaled 7 first downs for their efforts, so it's been pretty even.
Yeah, it definitely has been even, Jim, and I think Red Tornadoes a little shell-shocked going into halftime there. Just not really expecting, you always expect this game to be tough and hard-fought, but not expecting the Indians to come out with as much fire as they did.
Yep, so we'll see how we start here. Again, the Red Tornadoes won the toss and deferred, so they'll get the ball first after having turned the Red Tornadoes, or excuse me, after having turned the Indians away inside their own red zone. So Dan, looks like we have a second here. Do you want to talk about your keys? What did you see in the first half?
Yeah, I mean, Jim, we saw the Red Tornadoes come out, and they've stayed grounded. You know, we talked about it. A lot of stuff going on tonight, but they did a good job coming back after kind of being punched in the mouth by Shamokin on that drive that capped with a touchdown. They did a good job fighting back and getting a score after that. So they've stayed grounded, and they don't seem like they've looked ahead.
No, and you see that looks like, for those of you watching, looks like they put a couple extra minutes on the clock here, so they stretched halftime out, even though both teams appeared to be ready, but they did stretch halftime out a little bit. So Dan, you got a little bit of room here. Right. If you want to go ahead and...
Yeah, and they haven't, like I said, the Red Tornadoes haven't really looked ahead at this point. And the Indians aren't really allowing the Red Tornadoes to look ahead. They're making sure that they're playing the game that's in front of them, because if they don't, this is going to end up differently than it has the past 23 years. Right. And for the Indians, I'd say that they came out and they've played with a chip on their shoulder for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, I mean, this is a very, this is a 3-6 football team, Jim. And Red Tornadoes are 7-2. You would think that the scoreboard would read a little bit differently than it does at this point in the game. But the Indians are letting the Red Tornadoes know that they're here to stay and they're here to play a football game.
And again, the officials let the teams come out and line up here, even after having pushed them off before. It looks like we're still going to wait this full 3 minutes, so got about another 50 seconds for those of you out there. Well, there's a couple different things we can touch on. I think one of them is certainly what's going on in the area, the games that are of importance, I think, for a lot of reasons. So, Dan, we talked about a couple of those, one of which I think is Central Columbia, correct?
Yes, and currently Central Columbia is on top of Bloomsburg, 9-0 at the half.
So that's important to the Red Tornadoes and their push to try to hang on to that 2 seed in District 4 playoffs.
Yes, and speaking of hanging on to that 2 seed, also want to take a look at Troy, who is currently on top of Canton, 14-7 at the half. Troy is the one kind of nipping at the Red Tornadoes' heels right now for that number 2 spot. And obviously, if you're a Red Tornado fan, you want to get out to the games. Nobody wants to make that ride to Troy if it
No.
if it ever comes down to it that we have to. So we want to have home field throughout until the championship game, because with the Tigers of Southern firmly in first place.
But the clock finally struck 0, and Cruz is going to kick it short to the up man. It's going to be Logan Wills. Catches the kick around the 30, and he gets upfield over the 40. See where they mark him down. Aren't really too many officials around.
No, there wasn't.
They were caught off guard by that short kick, but they'll give him the 45. So good start to the second half of the Red Tornado offense.
Yeah, this is really good starting field position, and the Red Tornadoes need to come out of the half and put some points on the board to start this drive. I think this drive is going to go a long way towards deciding this game.
Again, shotgun double wing for the Red Tornadoes. Reisinger's in the gun. He's got Widener in motion to the right. He fakes the pitch and keeps himself up the middle. He's done this a lot the last few weeks. He'll be met by a few Indian defenders around the 48-yard line, but it's a nice pickup of 7.
Yeah, Jim, you know, I mentioned it a few weeks ago. I think it was the week that Tommy was at Supper Club. How, you know, I think he's liking the fact that this play's been getting called a little bit more often because he never even wanted to be a quarterback. I think he wanted to be a running back, so he's enjoying this.
This time it'll be Widener, and Widener does exactly what he's always done, and he picks his way and he runs through arm tackles. So the Indians there specifically, that's 34 Madden, doing everything he can to rip that ball out of Widener's arms, but Widener does a nice job hanging on and backpedaling for another 10 yards or so, all the way down to the 28. So a gain of 20 for Widener. Yeah,
Jim, I'm glad you pointed that out. Widener, remembering that fumble earlier on in the game, carrying that ball with 2 hands now, up high and tight when they start ripping at it.
And now Reisinger's going to throw, and he's got Burkowski open. He's just got to get it to him, and he throws it a little bit too deep. So it'll fall incomplete. Burkowski had leaked out there wide open. Reisinger a little trouble putting it on him.
Yeah, but Burkowski did a really good job getting out there, and the coverage was there from Wolfgang Pearson, but Burkowski had a step or two on him, and if that would have been the tough pass for Reisinger to kind of drop in there, but would have been impressive if he was able to.
2nd and 10 for the Red Tornadoes, same look. Widener in motion, it's the fake to Widener, and Reisinger keeps it himself, and he powers through up around the 20. I'll say he made it to the 21, so give him 7. He's going to bring up a big 3rd down, 3rd and 3.
Yeah, nice run there again from Reisinger, and this is what pretty much what the Red Tornadoes did on their first drive to start the game when they got the ball. So they need to be able to continue to move the ball this way.
And they're back up on the ball again, and it's going to be Widener one more time, and the Indians do a nice job of bottling him up. He'll get to the 20, so it'll be 4th and 2 as we approach 10:25 left in the 3rd quarter on the Red Tornadoes' initial drive of the 2nd half.
And this is big here, Jim. They really need to be able to convert on this to get the 1st down.
So notice Stellar is going to stay on the sideline, which means 2 things. Number 1, there'll be no wildcat, hard count kind of stuff out of Stellar, at least. And number 2, the Red Tornadoes are going to go for it. They would bring Stellar on for a field goal in this opportunity, or if they were going to kick, it would be Stellar.
Yep.
But Reisinger look over the defense. Now he's going to change the play. He'll take the snap and hand it to Widener, and Widener does a nice job of getting north and south, and now he's in a foot race to the corner. Monster's going to try to stop him, and he can't. It's a Red Tornado touchdown. A 20-yard scamper by number 28, Shane Widener, his 3rd of the night.
Yeah, Jim, again, you know, we talked about it at the outset that Widener was going to be fighting for that Mike Terry Award again, and I think he's probably got the best case for it at this point in time. But got to give a lot of credit to Widener there. I'm assuming on that 4th and short play that the play was designed to be something up the middle. He comes up to the line, sees 6 down linemen on that defensive line, and switches it to more of an outside zone read to Widener than an inside zone, and it turns into a touchdown. Such a great call.
Stellar's kick is up, and it's good, and it's 21-6 Red Tornadoes with 9:42 left in the 3rd quarter. But yeah, Dan, you're absolutely right. Reisinger, we talk about it so many times. I think the 2 plays tonight that embody the last couple years of his growth as a quarterback is, number 1, throwing the ball away on that initial drive, or I'm sorry, on that 2nd drive of the game for the Red Tornadoes, and then of course the ability to read the defense and change the play.
Yeah, I mean that shows the development of Reisinger, and we've talked about it so often throughout the year, but it also shows the confidence that Coach Dara has in him. Kind of just normally if Reisinger comes out, he's if it's any other quarterback, I should say, he comes out, he sees something he doesn't like, he looks over the sideline, and the coach has to call a timeout and dial something else up. Coach Dara has enough confidence in Reisinger to let him make that call, and I said it proves to be such a good decision.
And what I want to make sure doesn't get lost in that one, Dan, because we can praise Reisinger, rightfully so. The offensive line praise him, praise Widener. That was all in 4th and 2.
Yeah.
Right, in a 2-score, what was only a a one-score game at that point. So it's a big play for the Red Tornadoes. And now Chapman's going to kick a bomb to Wolfgang Pearson at the 5. And Chapman's going to slow him up before ultimately Pupo and Bendis are going to finish him off right at the 31-yard line.
Yeah, the Heights kid's doing a good job there making that tackle on the sideline there. This is a big drive here for the Indians. I think if they are not able to put points up here, that could spell the end for their opportunity. So I think they really need, this is kind of a make or break drive here for Shamokin.
Stellar in there at that outside backer position again. We saw him in there in the first half. Grimes will turn around and will hand it to Madden, who will be across the 35 to the 36. Did a nice job. Looked like he had a problem with the handoff, but did well to recover and gain 6.
Yeah, had a nice run there, but that was a good tackle from Troutman. Looked like, honestly, when Troutman came in, it looked like he was ready to cut Madden in half, because Madden was running with his shoulders pretty square, and looked like he got hit right across the stomach there and taken down pretty easily.
2nd and 5 for the Indians. They'll split back. One receiver split out to the left. Grimes goes for a hard count, no motion. Now they're going to do a little turn. It's a quick inside handoff, a little misdirection to try to get a jersey number. Looks like it was James, but we'll verify it.
Yeah, I think it was.
It was, and he fights hard for a first down.
Yeah, he fought very hard. And that was like you said, that was sort of like a counter trap there, a sort of almost like a rock and roll trap. Got that play, all the motion going one way, and had James coming back the other way.
Now, what was interesting is Coach Dara was jumping up and down on the sideline when the Indians set. So you're curious if, while that worked, if the Red Tornadoes saw something there with that play.
Yeah, they must only run that set when they're going to run that play or something.
Now James goes in motion to the left, and they're going to pitch it to Madden. And Madden's got some space out there. He sets up a blocker nicely. He gets into Red Tornado territory of another first down to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to get that edge, and the play was schemed well, getting James outside, letting him kind of motion out, and letting him get the outside defender turned in. But good job by Belichick. Belichick lost a little bit of ground, but did a good job of turning Madden back inside to where the tacklers were at.
We'll give him the 44, which makes it a 13-yard gain for Madden on the quick pitch, really.
Yeah.
Grimes, they send Madden in motion this time. And it's going to be that rock and roll trap to James again, and he's wide open. He'll get down inside the 30. He takes a big shot from Widener and Troutman. But again, a first down and more down to the 26-yard line, a gain of 18.
Yeah, Jim, there's a lot of misdirection going on this drive. And, you come out, you run one play, you have James go out in motion to the left, and you send the quick pitch out there. You come back, you have Madden go out in motion to the right. You think the quick pitch is coming, but they hit James going back the other way. It's a really well-designed play, well set up.
Now they come back in a tight eye, and it's Madden, and the Red Tornadoes are ready for that kind of traditional dive play, as Madden will give him 3 yards down to the 23.
And Jim, we keep talking about it. It looks like Madden's not going anywhere. As soon as he's meeting a Red Tornado, he's getting hit and brought down. But that push that the Shamokin offensive line has been getting has been impressive. It's not something that we have seen happen too often against this tough Red Tornado front.
No, that's a big front that they have there in purple tonight.
Yeah.
Madden in motion. And it's that same rock and roll trap, but there is no fooling the Red Tornadoes that time. We'll see who's there. 72, Colin Erb, 54, Mikowski are first on the scene, and they do a nice job of stopping James right at the point of attack.
Yeah, and it's that rock and roll trap, and good job by Chili there, who cannot be trapped. So nice job there by the defensive line. Chili and Mikowski did a good job not getting trapped there and reading that right from the start.
So now it's a big play for the Indians here, 3rd and 7. As we approach 6 minutes left in this one, they trail 21-6. 6 minutes left in the third quarter, that is. But it's that same motion with Madden And it's going to be the short pitch to James, and now he's going to reverse field, and Chili was right there with him, and he's going to do a nice job of slowing him up. Now, though, this is an interesting play. They're going to stop him short of the first down. He'll gain about 3 yards on that play. And while Chili, Colin Erb, number 72, isn't going to make the tackle in the backfield, he's the only thing that stopped James from having a free run at that corner. And my goodness, who knows what would have happened had he gotten there.
Yeah, Jim. I mean, it was a good job by Chili being able to kind of fight his way, or just kind of staying home. You know,
yeah.
That play wasn't designed to come back across the field, but these guys do a good job of taking angles when they're going to the opposite field and are able to get back to stay home if they ever do cut back.
4th and 3, big play for the Indians, and it's the short pitch, and they try to throw it, and it's going to be intercepted by the Red Tornadoes. We're trying to see, that's number 19, Dylan Pupo. So biggest play of the season so far for that young man comes in a huge moment as he picks off the option pass.
Yeah, Jim, and that's exactly what that was. I mean, wow, Pupo with just you know, I talked about Coach Hynoski kind of having to pull out all the stops tonight, and he did with getting the halfback the ball and letting him throw it out there. But Pupo just very well prepared in great coverage. It looked like the ball was almost thrown to him, like he was running the route for him.
And one thing you usually see with those option passes is typically whoever's going to throw the ball is getting a little bit deeper to give themselves a chance, and they use that quick pitch. So there was really nowhere for him to go, but the Red Tornadoes back at it, hand the ball off to Bendis, who's in there for Widener, and he'll pick up a few yards out to the 21, give him 3, 2nd and 7.
Yeah, now you see a little bit of shuffling in and out. Like you said, Bendis in there for Widener. Witkoski just went in there to spell Daukus. So that these guys play a lot. There's a lot of two-way guys.
Sure.
So getting them breaks on offense after a long, tough drive on defense is nice for Coach Darrah to be able to do that.
Now it's the inside handoff to Witkoski, and credit the Indians being ready for that one. They've been ready for it most of the night. We haven't seen that break big yet. So it'll bring up 3rd and about 6 here for the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, and you know, we've talked about it before, Jim, that this is that play, like we always want to know, what is the average yards gained when we run that play? And I think normally it's somewhere around 8 yards, something like that. But tonight, not having as much success.
Reisinger's going to throw, and they have a screen set up, and Widener can't bring it in. So that's a well-designed play by Coach Darrah. It'll fall incomplete, of course, and force the Red Tornadoes to punt, but file that one away. It looked like they may have had something there.
Yeah, that was a very, very well-designed play, and it was you saw Widener a little frustrated with himself when he wasn't able to pull that one in because it was well set up.
And what's great about this offense, Dan, is this shotgun double wing is it looks simple enough until you're trying to stop it. Right? It gets really complicated. There's a lot of motion, a lot of misdirections, and these kids execute it to a T. So while it may look simple, and now we got a high snap over Chapman, and Chapman's going to do what he can. He feels it. Now he's going to try to get out of the end zone, and he can't. So he's going to be dragged down for a safety. So it'll be 21-8 here, and the Indians will get the ball back. So a high snap on the punt. Chapman did everything he could to kind of track it down and keep it from going out of the back of the end zone. He tried to make something happen as he rolled out, and he's ultimately dragged down in the end zone for the safety. Yeah,
that's a tough situation there for the Red Tornadoes. And again, you know, it seems like as soon as the wind is kind of taken out of the Indian sails, they come back, they get a stop on defense, they get points on the board, and now they're going to get the ball back again after having a fairly fair amount of success on the last drive moving the ball. So the Red Tornadoes, they need to have they need to get the ball back on offense and have a put away drive, because this is one of those things, like, you keep letting a good team hang around, things get a little iffy.
Yeah, and I think the Indians, while, you know, Coach Hynoski would probably be the first one to tell you that a lot of what's occurred this season maybe hasn't gone their way, but they've been in a lot of close games, more so than the Red Tornadoes, right? They've been in a lot. So, Dan, we were we've been talking the last couple weeks about how the Red Tornadoes have used the end of the season as a springboard into district playoffs the last few years. And so I took a look. And just to give you an idea, when we talk about the Red Tornadoes having not been in very many close games lately, so really it's under Coach Dara. So since Coach Dara's been here, between week 7 and 10 of the regular season, the Red Tornadoes are winning games by an average margin of about 27 points.
Wow.
So good job by Chapman getting that off. It'll be taken by Pearson. He picks his way, and the Red Tornadoes do a nice job of stopping him. But again, by the nature of the safety punt, the Indians are going to start the drive in Red Tornado territory at the 47-yard line.
Yeah, so it's going to be another tough task for the Red Tornadoes to kind of stop the Indians again. But it seems like they continue to toughen up in that, that their side of the field. You know what I mean? When they're defending their end zone, when they're getting their back pushed up against the wall is when they play their best. At least tonight, that's when they've played their best. So we'll see if they're able to get another stop here, Jim.
3:38 in the third quarter. The Red Tornadoes on top 21-8. The Indians feeling a little bit of life, and it's a handoff to Madden. And he fights hard inside the 40 down to the 39. So a nice run there by Madden. And we keep talking about these guys, Dan. They've done it all night, where these Indian tailbacks, they don't stop moving their feet. They run hard. No doubt something that they learned from their head coach, and as well as his father, Henry Sr.
Yeah, Jim, that's exactly what I was thinking. I guess that's what happens when you have a NFL running back as your head football coach.
Another handoff to Madden off the left side, and now he's in the open, and Madden, he's going to score from 40 yards out, so that'll be his second of the night. And just like that, this one's interesting. 21-14 now with the extra point pending.
Yeah, so we've talked about the wind being taken out of the Indian sails, and right there it was taken right back from the Red Tornadoes. I mean, you felt the air kind of go out of this side of the stadium, Jim, when he kind of broke into the open field. You kind of felt everybody over here gasp, and everybody on that purple side kind of get fired up.
Absolutely. Osowski on for the extra point again. This is a big one. Now it's a low snap, and the Red Tornadoes do a great job. That's Troutman gets in there and blocks it, so it'll stay a 7-point game, 21-14.
Yeah, Jim, that was huge there, because now for the Indians to have any chance of making a comeback here, they need to score and get that extra point if they're able to hold Mount Carmel down. Now, I don't think that offense took very well to being stopped as much as they've been tonight. So I think Coach Dara is going to have something dialed up for this offense to kind of silence the Indians.
And I think, the Red Tornadoes are going to do what they do.
Yeah. Right?
They're going to come out in the shotgun double wing.
Yep.
And they're going to hand it to Widener, and Reisinger is going to keep it. They're going to give it to Burkowski because they've gotten this far with that. Again, the Indians have done a nice job of slowing it up thus far. But again, the Red Tornadoes have had enough, I think, sustained drives. And you look at the numbers, right, and we look at what we've seen, they haven't had the big play yet.
No, they haven't. And normally there's many of them. But you're right, they haven't had it yet. And hopefully we see it here soon.
It's another short kick to Wills. Wills is up over the 40. Again, the Indians and Coach Janowski have seen enough of Widener to keep the ball away from him.
Yeah. So we will see, Jim, what the Red Tornadoes decide to do. Like you said, they're going to come out in that shotgun wing, and they're going to pound the rock as they have all season. But they're going to have to get something to break. You're right.
Here's another thing I haven't seen yet tonight, Dan. You know who doesn't have a catch? Number 44.
So, and he is he's definitely a playmaker. He's a kind of a game breaker. Chapman along with Widener and Wills. All these offensive weapons, though. Somebody needs to make a big play.
So this time it's going to be Widener again off the right side, and he takes a big stick. My goodness, we'll see. Try to get a number. It looks like 23. Ian Paul My goodness, did he lay some lumber there on Widener right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it was a nice tackle there. Good job. Widener kind of coming to the contact, putting his head down, just trying to fight forward. And normally we see Widener win that battle and fall forward.
And that's a nice job by Paul there, because what we've seen a lot tonight too is Widener, he goes to the outside and he puts his foot in the ground and he gets back up in that alley.
Yeah.
And Paul was ready for it. Now Reisinger is going to throw it. He's going to throw it as far as he can. He's got Widener wide open, and he's got him. Widener's going to make the catch inside the 20, all the way down to the 14-yard line. That is a huge play. It's a gain of 44, and it'll put the Red Tornadoes back in business inside the 20. They'll actually mark it right at the 15.
And Jim, you talk about it again. This offense, it's so simple, right? But normally, all right, you got Reisinger rolling out. He's only going to throw to the guys that are in his line of sight, right? Chapman and Wills out there in front of him. But Widener leaks out of the backfield, running wide open down the seam.
Now Bendis is in there, and Reisinger's going to keep it himself this time. He'll get inside the 10. He'll get, to the 10. So it'll bring up 2nd and 5 here. But again, 1:35 left. The Red Tornadoes with the 7-point lead and driving, thanks in large part to that 42-yard completion from Reisinger to Widener.
And you know what, Jim? I was just thinking about this as well. You know, we talked about needing somebody to make a big play. I think the Indians were worried about Chapman being the guy to make the big play there, and they forgot all about Widener, who's been the one doing it all game.
And the handoff to Bendis. Not really anywhere for that young man to go. He'll get inside the 10 to the 9. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 3. And again, we talked about Bendis a lot this year and kind of what he's been through, so it's just a thrill to see him on the field. This is really his first cold bucket game, even though he's been part of the team for the last 3 years.
Yeah, definitely, and you know, he of course wants to show out for this one. So I like that Coach Dyer has been getting him in there to spell Widener a lot and getting him his touches.
Reisinger brings Burkowski in motion, and he fakes to him. It's actually a snap to the up back Daukus, but the Indians were all ready for that one. So now Coach Dyer has a decision, because you're certainly within Stellar's range if you opt to kick, and you can make it a 2-score game.
What I think Coach Dyer is going to do is take the break to figure it out here at the end of the quarter.
Now, here's a question. Did you start that thought before you saw Coach Markey waving the team to the sideline?
I started the thought.
Are you sure?
I just couldn't spit it out quick enough. But, yeah, this is a good decision by Coach Dyer, I think. He was letting the clock run down throughout this drive, as you've noticed.
And run down it did. That's the end of the 3rd quarter here at Kent Memorial Stadium. We've got a barn burner on our hands here. 21-14 Red Tornadoes, although the Red Tornadoes are knocking at the door. So we'll get started with the 4th quarter in just a minute.
All right, Jim, so we'll see what we have here for the Red Tornadoes, what Coach Dyer wants to dial up. It's going to be 4th and very short. Well, scoreboard says 4th and 3, but I think it's a little less than that, at least from what it looked like here. Now, granted, we talked about it earlier, our angles are a little messed up, and I see Garrett Verano with gloves in his hand on the field now. Okay, all right, he's just getting his guys hyped up for the 4th down play. Now, Garrett Verano is normally the holder.
But now, the other thing you can't help but see is that at this moment, number 28 is on the sideline with his helmet off, so Bendis is in there right now. So if nothing else, I'm certain this won't be a handoff to Widener.
Yeah, right. So we will see. Could be the play of the game here, Jim.
Yeah, just to go to show how much fun it's been. We've had a couple of those already tonight.
Yes, we have.
This is the latest. But again, 4th and 3 from the 8. The Red Tornadoes on their way in. We got a 1-touchdown lead. Looking for some insurance here. The Indians trying to turn them away. Hard count. Little movement on the side on the Indians defensive line, but they won't get it. So it's going to be a pitch to Bendis. Now Bendis has the corner, and he's in for a Red Tornado touchdown. Number 34, Joey Bendis, has the play of the game. Dan will mark that one in the books. An 8-yard pitch, and again, in his first cold bucket game, the senior tailback gets in there, he takes the pitch, he reads the blocks, and he gives the Red Tornadoes a 13-point lead.
Yeah, Jim, that's a humongous play for this Red Tornadoes team. You saw Bendis out there, Reisinger out there. He went with the hard count. Got a little bit of movement on the Shamokin side, but not enough. Didn't get into the neutral zone. So I'm like, all right, we're not going to call a timeout here and bring out the kicking team. We're just going to pitch to Bendis and let him get the points.
Stellar drills the extra point there, so it's a 28-14 lead for the Red Tornadoes with 11:55 left in this one.
Yeah, that's now what the Red Tornadoes need to do here to really seal this game is get that defensive stop they've been looking for. It's, you know, every time they get a score, it seems like Shamokin does something to kind of come back with a counter punch, with an answer to kind of keep narrowing that deficit. The Red Tornadoes need to get a stop here and widen it.
Yeah, so what's funny is you think the way you saw the Red Tornado sideline react throughout that play, they go for the hard count, they get the move, they think they get the motion that they're looking for, and it's not called, so they're frustrated by that. Okay, well, let's go with the play, and that's, again, credit to Coach Darragh, because you go out there and you have the hard count, but you also have the play design that you're comfortable with, that you feel good about, that you're high on. So you get out there and you get it moving, and sure enough, works out a lot better than the 5 yards, or I should say the half distance penalty you were going to get for the offsides.
Yeah, it definitely worked out a lot better, and again, you said it. You got to be happy for Joey Bendis for getting that score in his first and last cold bucket game.
Now Chapman blasted that one, but there's going to be a flag. So here's one that we haven't seen in a little while. It'll be a false start against the Red Tornado kick coverage. Somebody crossed the ball before Chapman got it off the tee.
Yeah. So
I think at this point you can kind of feel the electricity. Somebody was a little too hyped up over there. That's all that was, Dan.
Yeah, you definitely can feel it, and you know, that was nothing wrong with getting a little head start every once in a while, I guess. But on the kickoff, it's a no-no.
So they'll take it 5 yards back. Chapman will be kicking off from the 35. He'll kick to Shikatano and Pearson. Wolfgang, he's been doing most of the returning tonight.
Yeah, trying to keep that ball away from Shikatano, I think, Jim.
Chapman's going to kick it low. He's going to use that turf. He got a nice bounce. Shikatano will have to take it at the 22. Now he's got a nice lane over there. It'll be a nice return by Shikatano all the way out to the 45-yard line. So, Dan, to your point, you know, when you see Shikatano return it like that, you think, oh, yeah, they probably were trying to keep it away from him.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at his numbers offensively, he's been a weapon. I saw he had a 65-yard run last week against Shikalimi for a touchdown. He's got 4 receiving touchdowns throughout the year, so he's definitely one of their playmakers. So you want to keep that ball away from him as much as possible.
Well, tonight, as far as a weapon, it's been Max Madden for the Indians. He's got the 2 scores, 51 rushing touchdowns of 51 and 40 yards. So they've been able to score kind of from all over the field.
Yeah.
Here come the Indians. Now they're going to send James in motion. And they're going to throw it to Shikatano on a now pattern. And he's going to throw it to Moss, who got behind everybody. So Everett's going to try to catch him, and he's not going to get him. So it'll be a double pass from Grimes to Shikatano to Mosser for 56 yards. And just like that, the Indians are back in this one again, Dan.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the Indians have been needing. They needed that big play. You know, if they're able to somehow come out and win this game and take that coal bucket back, that'll be the play talked about, that double pass. And that was kind of that signature play they've been looking for. And it looks like they're going to go for 2 here, Jim.
We'll see how they operate here again. They're 0 for 2 on the extra points tonight. 1 was missed, 1 was blocked.
Yeah.
So you can understand why they may go for 2.
And they are.
So this one gets more interesting by the minute. And Grimes is going to pitch it to Madden, and Madden's going to cut up field, and gets right to the goal line, and he's in.
Yep.
It's going to be 28-22 now. And if we allow ourselves to think down the road a little bit, should the Indians get a stop and score again, the PAT won't be to tie, it'll be to win.
Right. So, again, you know, Red Tornado defense reeling a little bit here, Jim. They're not very, they're not sure what to do with this Indian offense. They've been doing a really nice job of kind of keeping the Red Tornadoes off balance.
Well, now, Dan, this is something that we've talked about for Red Tornado opponents lately, but maybe we need to start talking about it for the Red Tornadoes in terms of you got to eat some of this clock.
Yes, I agree. And it seemed like Coach Dyer was trying to do it on the last drive, let the play clock run down a little bit, waiting to run that 4th down play until after the quarter was over. I agree. They're up. You're still up. You're still ahead as a Red Tornado.
And I think too, with where the momentum is and what's going on, I'm not going to say that the Indians are going to try an onside kick here, but I would be aware if I was a front line. Let's just say that much.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jim. I think it's definitely a possibility. Now, there's a lot of time left. It's not really the time that it's going to happen.
Right.
But it's definitely a time for it to happen if you notice that front line unprepared.
We'll see. And it's going to be a low liner again. This one will actually it's going to go through Widener's legs, and he's going to hope it gets in the end zone. So a break there for the Red Tornadoes is had the turf stopped that one short of the end zone, they'd have been in a rough spot. But fortunately, it'll get all the way through. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 20, courtesy of the touchback. Yeah,
that's a tough one, Jim. Like, you know, we talked about it. We don't play on turf every week. You know, this is the Indians' home field, so they're a little bit better at judging the bounces off of this turf. And when you get a ball coming off the tee a little bit wobbly, you don't know how it's going to roll. And it hit the 5-hole on Widener there, and thankfully, like you said, rolled all the way to the end zone.
11:33 left in this one. The Red Tornadoes are in a dogfight with the Indians. They lead 28-22 and have the ball. It's a pitch to Widener. Widener picks his way. He had to make an effort to grab that pitch, but he does a nice job pulling it in. He'll get out around the 25, so it'll bring up 2nd and 5.
Yeah, nice little pickup there by Widener. Like you said, did a good job, kind of had to reach back for that pitch, but was able to turn it into something.
And again, you're watching this game, this exciting game, courtesy WKMCTV. If you're watching it on Wednesday night, it's Service Electric Cablevision. And we thank tonight's sponsors, Chris Cunningham and Keith Forspring, teachers at the Mount Carmel Area School District. Reisinger fakes the pitch and he keeps it himself, and he keeps his legs pumping. He'll get out to the 35. It'll be a big 1st down there. The Red Tornadoes will get this drive officially started, we'll say, Dan.
Yeah, that's a good job there. A good 2-play sequence from Coach Dyer. You see that he's not shying away from what's been working. You know what I mean? It's not the offense that needs to make adjustments at this point. It's the defense. So he's just going to keep doing what he's doing offensively, keep moving the ball downfield slowly but surely. And as you said, there's not a whole lot of urgency, yeah, on the offensive side.
Reisinger, they're going to hand it to Burkowski on that inside play, but give credit to number 4, Aaron Frash. Again, we've seen a lot of time on from a fullback position, but when they've ran that inside trap, he's kind of been standing there in the hole waiting for Burkowski.
Yeah, and they've been doing a really nice job of stopping that play up. There's always that cutback lane, and it just has not been there.
2nd and 7. We'll be under 10 minutes when the Red Tornadoes snap this one. The Indians have everybody, all 11 guys within 5 yards of the ball. And we typically see that against the Red Tornadoes. We'll see if they can do anything with it. Reisinger will keep it, and he's stopped again. Nice job by the Indian defense. They stop him right at the 40, so we'll get 2 more. But again, it's going to be 3rd and 5. And a 3rd down, the Red Tornadoes need to convert here, Dan.
Yeah, it's a very interesting play here, Jim. A very interesting drive. You know, the Red Tornadoes, again, still on top, want to use that clock, but you don't want to give the ball back. The Indians have seized all the momentum offensively. You don't want the ball back in their hands.
Reisinger sends Widener in motion, and it's the handoff to Burkowski again, and he picks his way. He's going to stretch, and he's short. He's short. Again, the Indians have done a terrific job tonight of stopping that exact play.
And Jim, we'll see. This is big decision time for Coach Dara. And he doesn't look like he's...
Well, Reisinger's coming out, Steller's going in, but that doesn't mean...
That's not the punt team.
That's not the punt team by any means. So here we go. Coach Dara's going to dance with who brung him, and that's that offense.
I love it, Jim. I love the decision here. Now, whether it pays off or not, that's confidence from Coach Dara and his team.
So here we go, 4th and 3. Expect the hard count, and you'll get it, and you're going to get the flag. So again, that's one that you know is coming, and it's still so hard because you just want to get that. You want to get that jump.
Yeah, and again, you know, we talk about it all the time. You want to be that guy, like for Shamokin. Like I said, these guys have never seen the coal bucket. They've never been able to lift that coal bucket up. They've never seen anyone able to lift that coal bucket up in their lives, the guys that are out here on this field, Jim. So you want to be that guy. You want to be the guy to make that stop and turn that ball over on downs. Just a little too eager that time.
So ball control, ball security, all that becomes paramount at this stage of the game. And the Red Tornadoes are going to give it to Widener. And Widener's going to put 2 hands on the ball, put his head down, and power into Indian territory down to the 43-yard line. It's going to make it 2nd and 1.
Yeah, very nice run again from Widener. He's working hard tonight and doing a great job.
So here we go. We'll see what the Red Tornadoes are going to do with 2nd and 1. 7:40 and counting. Again, 1-score lead for the Red Tornadoes. Reisinger, he's got those play clocks in the end zone, so he's waiting it out. He's going to fake the pitch to Widener. He's going to go forward. He'll get another Red Tornado first down. So again, it's still somewhat early in that we're at 7 and change in this one. But every first down matters, Dan.
Yeah, this is just a very well. It's a methodical drive from the Red Tornadoes. Not getting that big play. That big play's not breaking yet for points, but they don't need it right now. They need that clock to run, and they need to end this drive with points.
Again, we'll get used to this for the rest of the way. Reisinger's going to throw it now. He's got a couple guys who broke loose. He's throwing to Burkowski. And Burkowski's incomplete. Great coverage on the play by 7 Pearson. He was all over Burkowski. Did a nice job of knocking the ball loose.
Yeah. Great ball from Reisinger there. I was waiting for the flag because it did look like Pearson got there a little early, but it was very good coverage, as you said, Jim. He was all over him.
So another thing that we were talking about, and I understand where Coach Dara is going there. Again, we're within 5. Everybody's within 5 yards to try to take the top off the defense in a lot of ways. But it does stop the clock, so 6:55 left. 2nd and 10 for the Red Tornadoes. Now they're back at it with Widener, and Widener's going to power through across the 35 to the 34. It's going to be third and about 6, we'll call it.
Yeah, and every time you think Widener's going to be stopped, he just is able to kind of skirt away and get a couple extra yards there. So he's been the guy throughout the game, and he continues to be the guy.
So Reisinger's got a long way to wait for this one. They're set at 14. Well, they're going to snap it, and Widener takes it. He's off the right side, and he's powering through. He's going to get that first down. Another one for the Red Tornadoes. And that'll allow them, again, not only for this drive to keep moving, but for that clock to keep moving after they set the ball.
Yeah, and again, huge pickup there from Widener. That was huge, and I see Coach Hajnowski calling his first time out here to kind of stop the clock and kind of reset the defense.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dan. I think stopping the clock is one thing, but again, you're going to need those timeouts later, most likely. So just to stop it here, just for the sake of stopping, it's probably not all he's thinking about.
Right.
It's intense down there right now, and you get your guys a breather. Like you said, you get to reset. And I'm watching this game, and I'm thinking about the Red Tornadoes going for it on 4th down here to get the first down. They went for it on 4th down inside the 10 to score a touchdown earlier, turning the Indians away inside the 15 at the end of the first half. And the Indians, the way they keep responding, the Max Madden runs, the double
The
pass
double
to
pass,
Mosser.
yeah.
And I'm just, the one thing that keeps running through my head is that clip of Dabo Swinney, the Clemson head coach, where after, I don't know if it was after the national championship game or after a big game, I think it was last season, where he's standing on the sideline yelling, "This was BYOG, bring your own guts."
Right.
And that's what we've got here tonight on both sides.
Yeah, it is. This is definitely a gutty performance, and it always, this game seems to always turn out that way, Jim. It's who's bringing it today, and both teams don't seem to have any give on this one.
But we'll reset here. 1st and 10, Red Tornadoes are on top 28-22 with 6:15 left in the fourth quarter. So we've got, hold on here. So we've got a handoff to Widener. He'll pick up about a yard, but there's a flag that went about 15 yards.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a hold against the Red Tornadoes.
Oh, wow.
Now that flag was in flight longer than the play ran.
I agree. So it must have been a quick one there, but
So I'm not entirely, I mean, that's a tough call for that official to make where he's standing.
yeah, I mean, especially after we saw the pile of bodies at the line of scrimmage where the flag was thrown. I mean, you probably could have called holding on anybody in there, and somebody would have just been like, all right, I guess maybe they did hold, but
They're going to get him for 10 yards right from the line of scrimmage where the hold took place. So it'll be 1st and 20 for the Red Tornadoes at the 36-yard line. Reisinger, it's the handoff to Burkowski. Now Burkowski's got the lane and he's picking his way. He does a nice job, but he's upended by, once again, number 23, Ian Paul, who's doing a terrific job from his inside linebacker spot tonight of really killing those cutback lanes. Burkowski will get it back inside the sticks, so it'll be 2nd and 9.
yeah, Jim, I think that was the first time that there was actually an opening there for Widener or for Burkowski, and he had blockers in front of him. Did a nice job, kind of like you said, picking his way through there and picking up 11.
5.5 left. Paul is occupying the outside line, but oh no, he's in the inside. Okay, we'll check that. So Reisinger's going to keep it himself, and he tries to get outside, but he's turned back in by Bryson James. So another terrific play by this Indian defense,
Yeah.
stopping the Red Tornadoes before they get started. And once again, here we are, 3rd and 9 from the 26-yard line for the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, so now, Jim, that holding penalty that may not have been a holding penalty is looking like something that could slow a little bit of the Red Tornadoes' momentum here. They're not on schedule. They're 3rd and long. But this is absolutely 4-down territory. So we'll see if the Red Tornadoes try to go with a situation where they get 2 plays out of this.
We're going to get a timeout on the field. The Red Tornadoes are going to take that one. Coach Dara in the official's ear, let him know we want to talk this over. So that'll stop the clock with 4:39 left in this one. And again, we've got a ball game on our hands, folks. The Indians have taken every shot the Red Tornadoes can give them and come right back. They're trying to withstand this last drive by Mount Carmel. It's 3rd and 9. The Red Tornadoes have it, or excuse me, 3rd and 8, we'll call it, at the Indian 25-yard line. Again, as we said before, 4:39 left in this one, so we've got a lot to do, Dan.
Yeah, this is a huge set of plays here. This 3rd down and possible 4th down play for the Indians defense is going to be that you're right. This has been a big game. We've talked about biggest plays of the game so far. This is going to be it. This has to be it. If they can't get a stop here, this game's going to end.
Well, and again, this is a great American rivalry, right? It's the coal bucket game, all this kind of stuff. This is as big as it gets in these two communities here. And for this game to be where it is, the Indians are in a position they haven't been in a few years.
I agree.
So they're excited about an opportunity to kind of put their stamp on this one.
Yep.
Reisinger sends Widener in motion. They hand it inside to Burkowski again. And they're just ready for that one. The Red Tornadoes keep trying to go back to that well, but that well's fairly dry.
Yeah.
It'll be a gain of 5 down to the 21. So it's going to bring up, a gain of 4, I guess. So it's going to bring up about a 4th and 5. So the Red Tornadoes will get that play in slowly and methodically. No doubt be going for it here.
And this is gut check time. This is the biggest play of the game for the Indians, and possibly the biggest play of their season.
Yeah, it'll be a tough sledding for the Indians if they're not able to come up with a stop here. Reisinger sends Widener in motion. He's going to throw it. Now he's under pressure immediately. He steps up, and he throws a rifle, and he's just misses Chapman. It's just out of his reach. So you love the play call, you get the matchup you want, and it's just outside of Chapman's reach. So this is one of the great things of sports. You have dejection on one side of the Red Tornadoes sideline, and the Indians are on fire right now. They've got an opportunity here. 3:52 left. They got to go the length of the football field. They got to go. They're 79 yards from the end zone right now. 78. They got 3:52 and 2 timeouts. So here we go. This is about as good of an opportunity as you can ask for if you're rooting for the Indians tonight. And they'll start with a handoff to Madden. And Madden's going to do what he's done all night. He'll get a couple yards. He'll get across the 25, out to the 27. Give him 6 there. 2nd and 4.
And Jim, the good thing for the Indians in this position, and the sort of tough thing for the Red Tornadoes, is they've done it all different types of ways tonight. Now, granted, that 2 of their 3 scores are on Madden runs, but they've also thrown the trickery out there.
They're going to stay with what works, and it's Madden. He's got a lot of guys in front of him. He's reading his blockers perfectly. He's in the Red Tornado territory, all the way down to the 43-yard line. So again, this Red Tornado defense, they need to take a breath and reset. Yeah. Because again, you talked about it yourself, Dan, the emotion, the moment. You got to be ready for the moment.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Jim. At this point in time, your adrenaline is running so high in this close game that it's either make a play or bust, and you need to tone that down.
That's a handoff to Bryson James, and he's up over the 40, down to the 37.
Yeah, Jim, I think with the adrenaline going on right now, the Red Tornado defense is in make or break mode right now. Every one of them wants to make a play, and they're almost over pursuing, and that's what's leaving these cutback lanes and things like that for James and Madden. So they need to play assignment football and stay within themselves.
Grimes will hand it to Madden again. Madden will be stopped up there. That'll get to the 35, and so we'll have their own 3rd down to deal with, the Indians will.
And Jim, they continue to do this, with which I'm so, like, that offensive line just continues to get a push. It looked like Madden, again, as soon as he got to a Red Tornado defender, that line of defense, he was tackled, but still was able to pick up 2 yards.
Grimes takes the snap, and it's going to be Madden again. And Madden's doing a great job of following his blockers of the 1st down inside the 30, down to the 26-yard line. And we're under 2 minutes here. Again, the Indians need 6 to tie, 7 to take the lead. The clock stopped for a second while they set the ball, but we'll keep moving.
Yeah, and Jim, we keep talking about it. The Red Tornadoes need to realize that this is not just the coal bucket game. This game is also going to play dividends on their seeding for the playoffs.
Hand off to Bryson James up the middle, and he had a space there. So Dan, that goes to what you were saying. He's going to be dropped by Troutman and Stellar at the 18-yard line, but he got from about the 25 to the 18 before there was a red jersey near him.
Right. So it's just that big Shamokin area offensive line that has been getting a big push down the stretch here.
It's Madden again. Maybe up the middle. He's to the 10, or excuse me, to the 15.
1st down, I think, though, Jim.
Yep, near the 15 for another 1st down. So, interestingly enough, again, I think Coach Hynoski he's guarding against the possibility of giving the Red Tornadoes any time left.
Correct.
He's going to try, if they're feeling confident that they're going to score here, they're going to do it with as little time as possible. So now they'll snap this ball with under a minute left. It's a pitch to Madden. He tries to get to the outside, and he takes a big stick from Stellar, who keeps him in bounds.
Yeah, Stellar with a really nice hit there. Did a good job on the tackle.
So now
we got a timeout from Coach Hynoski.
Yep, the Indians will stop the clock. 46.2 left in this one. The Red Tornadoes on top on the road, 28-22, but the Indians have a second and trying to see. We've had troubles with these spots all night. It's an interesting angle from up here.
Well, they're at the 9, Jim, so it looks like the ball's placed at the 9.
All right, so we'll get them at the 9, so it'll be second and about 3.
Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty close.
The chain gang has been a few yards off the field all night, not right up along those white lines. Which
so it's hard to tell where they're set at.
We got some angle issues here, but
here we go now. You see the Mount Carmel fans starting to get a little amped up. You can hear the defense chants. You see the Indian fans on the other side getting fired up. This is two communities playing for one trophy. It's great to watch this, Jim.
This is as big as it gets. The roof is going to go off this place if the Indians punch it in. And it's Madden again, and he's got nowhere to go. First on site with the 24, Julian Stellar, followed closely by Urban. The Indians are going to take their final time out of the game with 39 seconds left, facing a third and, well, it'll be 4 because he apparently didn't lose any yards on that one.
Apparently. So, again, been some questionable spots throughout the game, but again, Jim, this is going to be that's the last time out for the Indians, so they have 0 remaining. So this, if the Red Tornadoes can get a stop, this could possibly be the final play of the game, because they probably have time for 2, but either way.
Right. Well, you're not going to be able to stop the clock, because if you get a stop here, it's 4th down.
Right, so you can't clock. So they probably called, hopefully Coach Hajnowski called 2 plays in the huddle over there on the sideline.
So Grimes looked at the defense, and the Indians look exactly how they've looked all night.
They're going to throw a jump ball here to Moss or Jim.
It's James in front of Madden, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Grimes is under pressure. He's going to go down. It's going to be Dacus Wills. Rikoski, and they're in no hurry to get up. The ball's all over the place. The official dropped the ball. This is going to be it. There's going to be 1 play for the game. That's all they're going to get here. The Red Tornadoes doing everything they can. 18, 17. The Indians come up to the ball. Here we go. This is it. This is for all the marbles, guys. This is the bucket. 10, 9, 8. Grimes snaps it. He rolls out to his right. He throws it, and it's intercepted by Chapman. And Chapman goes down, and that's going to do it. There's 2.1 seconds left. The Red Tornadoes are a kneel down away from claiming the cold bucket for the 24th consecutive year, and the Indians are dejected.
And there's a flag. The teams are on the field. The
Red Tornadoes are going to get a dead ball foul on this one for
still 2 seconds left.
All kinds of things. 2.1 on the clock. But my goodness. So we'll see who the flag's on, because there was a lot that went on both sides.
Yeah, it should be. I
think they would offset in a lot of
penalties,
ways.
Yeah, because there were guys with their helmets off on the Shamokin side, and then a couple extra guys on the Red Tornadoes side.
So it looks like they're not going to walk anything off, so they are just going to wave these flags off.
Yeah, I think they just put them in their pocket, and they're just going to let them come out on the ball here.
So now the Red Tornadoes will come out in the shotgun. This is how they knee.
Yes.
Again, they don't go under center ever. So they'll one last snap. 2 seconds away from coming out of this one victorious yet again. And it's a good snap and a good kneel down, and that is it. All zeros on the clock, and the celebration can ensue after a collective exhale of an entire, not just community, but an entire generation of Red Tornado fans that don't know what it's like for that cold bucket to not be in Mount Carmel.
Yeah, definitely a collective exhale, Jim. That one went down to the wire, and what fashion for the Red Tornadoes to pull that one off, and their senior captain leader, Jack Chapman, with the ceiling interception. That's the way you want to end your final cold bucket game.
Whew. Dan, I'm out of breath up here. I know I usually give you a hard time about that, but we talked about it, right? We've had the opportunity to do this for a little while now, and what we've seen is a lot of one-sided games. When the Red Tornadoes have won, it's been big. When they've lost, it's been big. So we haven't really had the opportunity to spend too much time in these nail-biter, drag them out last-second games. And my goodness, what a thrill.
Yeah, and you are 100% correct, Jim. And while I'm waiting for the stats from Jose here, which I believe looks like he's getting them ready to go. It was a little bit of a madhouse on the field down there, so we'll give him a little break. I want to just check on some of these other scores that, like we talked about, might play a factor in the Red Tornadoes seeding.
So while you're talking about that, you keep looking at that. I'm going to talk riff for one more second about what this game is, Dan. And it's for everybody that's in attendance, everybody that was a part of this. You're going to remember just how close the Indians got and just how well the Red Tornadoes did at the end to turn them away. But at the end of the day, the Red Tornadoes are going to go next week. They're going to finish another season at 8-2.
Yep.
The Indians are going to fall to 3-7.
Yep.
And at least the last I knew, they were not certain exactly how their seeding was going to work out. But again, for the Red Tornadoes, certainly a win is a win is a win, especially in a moment like this.
Absolutely, Jim. That's at this point, you survived, and unfortunately for the Red Tornadoes, that's the word for tonight is you survived. You're clearly, if you look stats-wise, you look record-wise, Red Tornadoes came into this game obviously favored, and the Indians came in and pushed them to the brink, Jim, and like we said, that they survived. But they did survive, and they do get to walk away with the bucket another year, so we will talk about some playoff seeding. I don't know for sure how things are going to end up, but currently we have Central Columbia ahead on Bloomsburg 22-7. We also have, Southern Columbia is up 49-6 on Danville. We have Lewisburg down 17-6 to Mifflinburg. Another game area teams may have wanted to pay attention to was the 8-1 North Schuylkill versus the 8-1 Pottsville. North Schuylkill is currently ahead 29-7 in the fourth quarter of that one. And the big one, let me take a look here for this Troy score. Troy, final 21-14 over Canton. So now, Jim, I think it's going to come down to points.
Right, it's points. I think the Red Tornadoes were .002 points ahead of the Trojans coming into tonight, so a win against the bigger school certainly helps Mount Carmel. But again, so we've gotten into this point as you see just the pandemonium on the field.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of service members down there in support of the Great American Rivalry. We appreciate that and all they do. But the Red Tornadoes are going to bring the coal bucket home yet again, thanks in no short way to our player of the game, Shane Widener. Again, Widener is going to walk out of here with the 3 touchdowns. He had the huge reception to set up Bendis's 4th touchdown.
Yes.
And everything he's done defensively on the Indian side, it's bittersweet. I mean, Max Madden gave everything he had out. They all did, to be fair. That whole Indian side gave everything they had tonight. Max Madden had the 2 big touchdowns early, and was just mere yards away from writing his name in history in this great rivalry.
Yeah, and Jim, we talked about a few yards away. We will talk about how close yardage-wise this game was. So we have for Mount Carmel, 46 rushes for 268 yards, passing 1 of 6 for 43 yards, and 311 total yards, 15 first downs. That's the Red Tornado side. That's the Red Tornado line. Now listen to the comparisons here and how even this really was. 46 rushes from Shamokin, the same amount. 278 yards on the ground, 10 more yards. 2 of 7 passing for 72 yards, a total of 350 yards.
Wow.
And 15 first downs. So the only thing that separated these two teams was about 40 yards and 6 points.
Yep.
And if the points would have went one other the same direction the yardage difference did, there'd be a different team walking off with the coal bucket.
We've been trying to close these shows for better part of 2 years now, Dan, but I don't know if 40 yards and 6 points is any better. I don't know if there's a better way to do it. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here again. Stay tuned to see where both of these teams are next week. Hopefully, we wish the Indians the best. Hopefully the playoff seedings work out for them and they're able to sneak into the AAA playoffs.
Yep.
And the Red Tornadoes should have a home game. We'll wait and see exactly how it works out and if they can stay at home until if they're able to advance to the district championship. So, again, I'm Jimmy Lesko.
And I'm Dan Lesko.
And for Jose Gonzalo, down on the sideline with his stats. It's been a wild one, folks, but we'll hope you'll be with us next week. Thanks for listening.